couple tips about photo sizes. If we put large-sized photos into OneNote pages, then those OneNote pages often sync to the cloud very slowly. They have to upload the large photos, and if you have several photos on your page, it can get a little bit cumbersome. Additionally, once the photos have been uploaded, they have to sync over to your TA, and that can slow the whole process down as well because your TA has to sync not just your OneNote page, but also the pages from all of your classmates. So if we all pay a little bit of attention to photo size and try to keep our photos a little bit smaller, it'll make the whole process work a lot smoother. So I'm going to give you just a couple of quick tips on things that I do to keep photos a little bit more manageable in terms of file size. So let's say I was writing out a chemistry problem on a piece of paper. I wanted to take a picture of it and insert that picture into OneNote. So here is a particular chemistry problem. You can see it's a photo of a piece of paper where I wrote out a chemical reaction. Now, let's say that I want to figure out how big this is. On a Mac, I can just highlight this and do Command-I, and I can see that this is 1.6 megabytes in size. So that's fairly large. And if I just double click on the photo, I can open it in preview. And one of the things I can do is just make it smaller by cropping it. So I just really care about the part that I wrote, not all the extra parts of the photo. So I'm just going to crop it like this, and then I'm going to go to Tools and select Crop. And now my photo is much smaller and easier to manage, okay? And if I save that, and I'll just quit preview here, the photo's been resized, okay? You can see I can still read it clearly, but now the file size is significantly smaller, 452 kilobytes versus 1.6. It's about 75% smaller. So that's quite a reduction in size. So that's a much more manageable photo, and it will sync and upload to the cloud much quicker. Maybe I found a picture on the internet. So here's a JPEG file that I found on the internet, and it's this beautiful picture of dry ice that was found on Mars, photographed by NASA. And if we look at this photo here, this is 1.1 megabytes. And I really don't need a photo that is this large in size, right? This is very large. So again, if I open this in preview, maybe I don't want to crop it though. I don't want to have just a small part of it. I want to keep the whole overall feel of the photo. I just need to make it smaller on the page. In OneNote, if you just change the size of the photo in OneNote, it's not changing the actual file size. It's just scaling it, but it's not actually making it smaller in terms of the file size. But in preview here, I can go to Tools and I can choose Adjust Size. And when I go to Adjust Size, I can pick some smaller sizes. And it was about 1.1 megabytes or so. If I go to a 640 by 640, which is still a fairly large size, it's now down to 100 kilobytes. Okay, this is about a 90% reduction in file size. So I can hit OK here. It's now smaller, as you can see, but in terms of the OneNote page, it's going to be just fine. Your TA will be able to view that just fine. And so there it is. And now we have a much smaller photo, and it will sync many times faster because it's significantly smaller in size. So those are a couple tips that you can do. Either crop a photo or resize it to a smaller size. If you can do some of those things, and once you get good at it, it only takes a few extra seconds to do. It'll help everyone out, yourself, because it'll make it easier for you to upload your OneNote pages, and it'll make it significantly easier on your TA.